PES 2017. You've played it, Burns.
I have.
Tell me about the football.
It's still very good. It's still as good, if not slightly bit better than when I played the build a few months ago.
Yeah. Has it got a game?
There is a game in it. The game is you kick a ball around and try and kick it in a net and prevent other people from doing it. It's a game based on a real life game called football. And it is quite authentic without being too realistic. This is where sports games fall down, right? Where, like for Madden, for example, there's a lot of rules in American football and there's a lot of strategy and tactics, but crucially you get to essentially reset every few seconds and try it again. In football, you're running around, you run, anything can happen really. You run it from moment to moment. There's no stopping unless the ball goes out of place.
Boys in the park, jumpers with goalposts.
Exactly, all that shit. PES's main appeal is that unlike FIFA, it doesn't try to recreate everything animation-wise. It doesn't try to just make it as realistic as possible. It tries to make it as authentic feeling as possible. Said that many times about PES, and last year, PES 2016 was the best football game ever made. Fight me on that one if you want, I'll win. This one, I feel that while it's not worse, I feel that it's different enough that people may actually not prefer it. In the golden days of PES, you would argue about whether you found PES 4 or 5 or, the best one, or 6 or 5 or whatever. People have their favourites because each year they play slightly differently. This one feels slower, more methodical, more tactical. It feels like there's real pressure on almost every pass. And it makes the game feel heavier even though it isn't. And by heavier, I mean... In other football games, it's easy to just ping the ball around without, you're ping-ponging it. You're like, okay, right. So I know what I'm doing with all these passes here. The defense, the AI defense and the midfield are so good at closing you down. You've really got to think about picking your passes. And to open up defenses, it's more difficult than just... hitting a ball down the line, getting your quick player and sneaking around the fullback. I will say, for anyone that wants to know the nitty-gritty details, keepers are much improved over PES 2016. It's no longer possible to run essentially parallel with them while one-on-one and chip the ball into the far corner, which you always used to be able to do. Side footing the ball has been made less effective. The blend between first and follow-up saves that the keepers have, which was really, I liked it in PES 2016. Here it's a lot better. There's a lot more diving and saving animations. There's a lovely diving animation for near post shots. So when the ball gets whipped in from the byline across the ground, and you just side foot it in the bottom corner of the keeper to get down to the shot, as football commentators and everyone would say. There's like a bespoke animation for that. They don't just do the one they would do if it was shot from somewhere else in the box. So there's really nice goalkeeping animations. The referees are a lot better. I found after playing PES for like hundreds of hours, PES 2016, that when you were if you fouled someone really badly but they had someone in support, you could really exploit the advantage rule. So you could super cancel, so stop your player dead in his tracks, and if that supporting player on the other team pick the ball up, then no foul would be given no matter the severity of the foul, which is really nice in hacking people down and not giving away free kicks in dangerous areas of the pitch, because you could just wait for the other player to pick it up and then just hassle them out. So you had a lot of time to think about it after you'd given the foul away, because the referee wouldn't immediately blow. He'd play advantage. So you could use super cancel to get away with a lot of that. Now it doesn't happen. The referee is less lenient. It gives more cards. Is on top of the action. I wouldn't say it was as bad as PES 5, where any touch of the player sees them fouled. So it's not quite that bad.
Can the ref be bribed?
The referee unfortunately cannot be bribed, apart from in Serie A. No,
they should put that in.
Yeah, well, no, Jim, that's bad. What else? It looks amazing. It does look amazing. The player models in PES, I would maintain, have always been better than in FIFA. Because in FIFA, a lot of them just look like potatoes. But here, they just...
a lot of them do look like potatoes.
Well, in the case of Wayne Rooney, for example, he does look like a King Edward that has become sentient, put on a kit, and can talk. However, I will say that a lot of them don't look like potatoes. They've got faces that are distinct with angles in them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and that's controversial.
That is controversial. So the players look great. The pitch looks great. The weather effects look really cool. The ball itself looks amazing. A lot of people at this preview event were like, I know, the ball looks amazing. But you'll see it in this footage, the close-up replay stuff. looks absolutely fantastic. And as I said, PES has always had good replays. It always has.
The ball, I mean, that's like going into somebody's house and going, I really like the handles on your cupboards. Like,
well, yeah, I know, but it's difficult to explain. But when you see it, you'll understand.
Okay.
You know, I've said before, so I'm kind of repeating myself on the subject of repeating yourself here, is that describing football games or sports titles year on year is like selling razors. You know, it's like, remember last year you loved that razor we made? Well, this one's even better because it's got more things.
If it was really like selling razors, like every version of PES would have another ball on the pitch. It's time for 6-ball football.
And the marketing would be really weird.
Yeah.
It'd be really fucking weird. But I think PES 2016, which I really loved, had the best passing game of all time. It's even better here. You do have to be more methodical, but the range of passes has been expanded, and the player ID system, so the ability for your player to receive the ball and act like they would in reality. So if you know you've got a really good player, a Messi or a Ronaldo or whatever, you can use the strengths that you know coming into the game. You know what they're good at. So if you watch football regularly, or even, you know, in the case of the superstars, just kind of watch it occasionally, you'll start attempting things without hitting trick sticks or skill buttons. You'll just try it. You'll try and play like they do, and the game's player ID system is so good and so instinctive and natural feeling. Because you don't need to think about button combos really or anything, that you'll just pull it off. And it's a really cool feeling, like with Iniesta, for example, the tricks and flicks you can do literally just as a matter of course with the right timing is exactly how he plays, and it's very satisfying to do that. So I'd say it's less end-to-end than it was before, even though the game isn't slow, but it just feels like you've got to think a bit more about the passes that you're playing, the slide tackles that you're making, because being out of position now is such a big issue. If you find a player out of position, there's so much space to exploit, because, again, players are so good at defending, turning over the ball, and all of that.
Yeah.
It's a good football game.
So it seems like, I mean, if you loved PES 2016, PES 2017 is going to keep you on your toes.
I think so. I do also think that some players won't necessarily be on board with some of the changes, but at the same time, I do think it's one of those. It took me ages to score. And PES 2016 is the classic thing with PES and a lot of football games. You can be winning games when you're playing at home 5 or 6-0 in your Master League or whatever every other game, because the intricacies of the game in and out. Whereas you'll play, play on Superstar against the AI, and it's easy now because you know the game. On normal difficulty on this, it's different. It's hard because you don't know how the game necessarily reacts to a lot of different things. And I think in the early days, that coupled with the methodical, as I say, passing, may make people think, well, there's a lot different here. But the more you play it, the more that kind of bleeds away and becomes more instinctive, as I said, and you start to get back into the really awesome PES passing and shooting. It's fucking good. They've done it again.
Right. Here's the final $1 billion question.
Yeah.
Is it better than Rocket League, the best football game of all time?
Well, obviously.